guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. Today we are going to take out the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone with DOKKANFEST Pan's team, right? We are going to do a complete sweep. We'll no-item all 5 stages with double Pan as our leader. Remember, the restrictions I do for this challenge, right, is I want to make sure to use double of the character, right? So for, like, the movie hero team, right, like, I'd want to use, like, Gamma 2's team, for example. I'm not using, like, Gamma 2 as lead and then a friend Gamma 1, right? That's one thing I want to do is the same 2 lead. And then I also want to make sure that all the characters are on the leader skill. Those are the 2, like, rules. And I guess use no items. No items, no support memory. Pan, this was tough. Many of these took many tries. Okay, the thing with Pan, if she had a unit that would activate her active skill, and her, you know, her guaranteed additional, that was a character that was better than her, and it was, like, on her team, on her 200% leader skill, Pan would be a lot better. Because the thing about Pan, she really is an offensive unit. Right? Like, the reason I've soured so much on Pan, you'd think, like, oh, she's got the damage reduction, right? Like, she could be a decent, like, defensive character. No, Pan gets bullied by any tough boss, essentially. So, Pan is strictly just an offensive juggernaut, is what she is. Pan can do, I think, some of the best burst damage in the game right now. I don't want to say this is, like, oh, guaranteed or something like that, but I do really feel like Pan has, like, the strongest active skill. I feel like Pan's, like, active skill does more damage than, like, any other boss, basically. Or, her active skill does more damage than, like, any other character. So, it's just, not having a GT Goku around, like, in some of these fights, the problem is that these GT Gokus just aren't good enough, right? So, the first fight here is against Frieza. Frieza's definitely difficult, but it's a super long fight. So, like, even that AGL GT Super Saiyan 2 Goku, I felt confident that I could bring him, get enough super attacks with him, and he could at least maybe tank full power Frieza's normals by the time we get there. That AGL Super Saiyan 2 Goku does also link rather well with Pan, right? They have a bunch of their links active. It's just really good, right? The 2 of them together. So, in this fight, you know, we have enough of a build-up to, you know, we're able to build Pan up, we're able to build this AGL GT Super Saiyan 2 Goku up, so that by the time we get to full power Frieza, we can essentially nuke him off the field with her ridiculous active skill, right? Just capable of doing more damage. And again, I feel like her active skill hits harder than any other character's active skill. Even Vegeta and Trunks, Final Form Cooler, Anniversary LRs, all these guys. I feel like Pan's hits harder. But it's just in the other Wicked Bloodline Red Zone stages, the fights are different, right? Pan came out, and it's like, you know, the Omega fight, you got, like, the Baby fight, the Shadow Dragons, Broly. These are, like, long fights, right? Where Pan is able to build up, you know, some of these other, like, characters you could kind of, like, specifically get for each stage. The problem is that in the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone, these fights are very fast. You get to these ridiculous bosses, and if you run Pan in slot 1, you're dead. It's like, Pan's team works if you're spamming items because, again, she's, like, pretty much a shitty defensive character, but she could do insane offense. Look at her, her damage is through the roof. Pan can hit so ridiculously hard, but she's just really not an impressive defensive unit, right? I do think that Pan potentially could really be helped. Like, Beast Gohan drops, if he's everything I think he's going to be, Hybrid Saiyan, 200% lead, stuff like that, Pan will be runnable on that team. But to me, Pan, she just feels far off from one of the strongest TURs. She is not, whatchamacallit, she's not on the level of, you know, Bardock, Ginyu, you know, Gamma 1 and 2, Kid Goku. Pan is not competing with them. Pan, to me, right now feels like a character I'd bring her only with type advantage. Some of the best TURs in the game I will bring regardless, right? Like, my recommendation for a lot of these fights always is you go type advantage, right? So, like, this Frieza, the strongest phase ends with Tech, so you want to bring a lot of int characters. But, you know, Gamma 1, Gamma 2, Bardock, honestly, like, these characters, I'm very comfortable bringing type neutral. I am not with Pan. I am not comfortable bringing Pan to a type neutral fight. She gets bullied. So many of these dude, I have actually, like, over 100 clips of Pan just getting disintegrated in the Wicked Bloodline red zone. This fight was tough, but this was, I mean, Mecha Frieza is a free pass fight, but this was the easiest. The cooler fights in here with Pan's team were utter hell. We're going to get to full power Frieza, who's very scary, but again, we have the active skills with Pan. We can nuke full power Frieza out of here in seconds with Pan's active skill, because a long fight plays into her strengths quite a bit. Alright, now we're going on to the final form cooler fights. This is hell. Hell. this is what I would say about this. Thank God that we have certain characters, such as Chilai, such as Android 8, such as also Kid Goku, because it is very tough in here. Now, Android 8 is very, very good. As you guys saw, he just got obliterated right there. That can happen at the start of the fight with no Kid Goku around. Android 8 can get turned into dust in seconds, right? Again, another reason why I was so, like, adamant and confident on giving him full dodge. Now, again, remember, the big strength with Pan can be super impressive when you're getting her additionals in, the guaranteed additionals from GT Goku being around, and then you're also getting that active skill in, right? You know, she builds up. Remember that Pan needs to do 5 attacks in order to build up her passive? The problem in here is that final form cooler, he just hits too hard, right? I actually use this physical GT Goku because it's like, at the very least, I know, like, he doesn't get one-shotted by, like, one normal attack, right? This final form cooler hits so hard that, like, many, like, really strong characters, like, they just get completely obliterated by normals. But I felt like with that Goku, like we could at least potentially try and sort of blitz cooler. Things are just tough, right? Like, in order to get through these runs with Pan's team, we just need a lot of good luck. Pan is completely helpless, I feel like, in this fight for the most part. It's completely down to where cooler attacks, right? Like, we're looking for rotations where cooler is not attacking one spot so we could slide Pan in there, right? Even with Pan's damage reduction up, I'm pretty sure Cooler just one-shots Pan through her damage reduction, believe it or not. This is not the fight designed for Pan, but, you know, again, it's like, dude, like, I come in here with, like, Bardock is a tech character like Pan. I come in here with Bardock's theme, and I effortlessly do it in one try. Pan's theme, things get a little bit more dicey, a little bit scarier, right? Again, I do wish that Pan, really, I've come to the realization, again, you look at Pan's kit, you see the 50% damage reduction, you think, okay, but she is actually just modern day Blue Kaioken Goku. Like, that's literally all she is, right? She's just pure offense, and that shit just does not play well when you're not spamming with items, spamming with support memories, and doing a million tries to get perfect RNG. It's not really that great. Because the thing is, I feel like these defensive setups, right? It's like you do it a little bit slower, but you could do it much more consistently. The offensive setups is like, oh my god, I beat the event in like 3 minutes, but it took 60 tries to do. Like, I don't know. I'm just telling y'all, these Pan Wicked Bloodline Red Zone runs were not fun. These runs were not fun at all. It was pretty tough to make it through a lot of these fights, man. Alright guys, now we move on to the fight against Mecha Frieza. Complete free pass of a fight. Nothing really too scary or bad or nothing in here. Again, this opening round, only the AGL Frieza soldier can even super attack. And then we get to the second phase. And it's like Mecha Frieza and King Cold, they don't really hit that hard, right? Compared to all these other Wicked Bloodline Red Zone bosses. They hit like monster trucks. Mecha Frieza and King Cold doing 700,000 damage super attacks. That's not scary. That's not 700,000 damage super attacks is not really too scary because it's like turn one, sure, right? Like so many characters build up these days. But the thing is, it's like Mecha Frieza and King Cold, they're not turn one, right? Doing 700,000. It's like that's the final phase. So this fight, I think I did this one in one try. I think this is the only fight I did in one try. Maybe the AGL Metal Cooler, Pan is a good matchup for AGL Metal Cooler. But I think this might have been the only one I did in one try. AGL Metal Cooler, I don't think, took too many tries. It's the other three that were really tough. And in particular, the Final Form Cooler and Metal Cooler Core, they were hell. But yeah, not really too much to say here. Just when we get into the phase against Mecha, Frieza, and King Cold, we just attack King Cold as fast as possible. The reason I brought LR Kaioken Goku on here is that we could do as much damage as quickly as possible to King Cold to get him out of here, right? Like, I always tell people, you know, bring type advantage characters for the strongest enemies in these fights. Here, the recommendation is Mecha Frieza's tech, King Cold is physical. I think bringing STR characters here is the way to go, because you want to try and finish King Cold off as quickly as possible so that he can't seal anymore, right? Occasionally, this fight can be really annoying, because King Cold can seal. I don't know what triggers it. It seems to be very rare, but he can seal 2 characters at once, multiple times, I think. So it's like, I've had runs before where this fight just drags on because King Cold is just sealing all the hard hitters, and it's just like, we're just stuck in the fight, right? And typically, they can't do too much damage to us, although I believe we do revive with Carnival Goku in this run. So here we go. Here is Mecha Frieza. Certainly not too bad. moving on to the Metal Cooler fight. This one is really much easier for Pan's team. The problem here is just getting past the Cyclopean Guard. This is an insane rotation. This, I promise you, while I was doing this, I was like, oh, we lost. Okay, whatever. Like, this typically is like an instant loss, a rotation like this. The Cyclopean Guard is a problem, right? But once we make it past him, Pan against AGL Metal Cooler, she can't really get caught the way she could with, like, neutral, like, enemies and stuff like that. So now we run our rotation of Android 8 and Kid Goku. We got Carnival Goku on the other rotation. Pan can be a floater, and even if she gets supered, she's not going to get one shot, so we should be looking pretty good going through this. This fight certainly is one of the hardest fights in the game, but this is the fight where Pan is a really good matchup. The two fights in the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone where Pan matches up well is Full Power Frieza and this Metal Cooler, right? Full Power Frieza, because the fight is so long, that Pan is able to easily fully build up, and then again, that EGL GT Super Saiyan 2 Goku, you could bring him up, he could be built up, and he could actually help you. He'd die if he gets caught by a super, but I think he could do well for type disadvantage. But a lot of these other GT Gokus, not really a big fan of them. I could have brought Ultra Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku into this, but I of course would feel much better. Like, who am I going to replace for Ultra Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku? Am I going to get rid of God Goku? Am I going to get rid of Chi-Lai, Carnival Goku? Like, no way in hell, right? Like, again, super full power, like, if not for Android 8 and Kid Goku being out, I probably would have the full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku on here, the easy A one. But there's just, like, there's no spot for him. Even to get Pan, because I don't feel like we need Pan's nuking capabilities to win in here, right? Like, this, again, is the one fight where she matches up really well. I've had some troubles with the Metal Cooler fight with some teams, where I have actually struggled to out-damage Metal Cooler and his healing, but certainly with Carnival Goku and two Pans in this team, that's not going to be a problem. And then Kid Goku, right? Especially if we get the active skill with Kid Goku, he will begin to, he could do, like, triple, you know, I don't think he'll do triple 10 million supers, because he's not on the 200% leader skill. Remember, only GT characters are actually on the 200% leader skill here. That's the other thing with Pan. Her leader skill kind of sucks for the 200%, right? Like, GT sucks. Like, Pan is good. I would not call Pan bad, right? She's an offensive unit with really mid defense, right? Like, I'm not my type of character, but I wouldn't call her bad. And then LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is still great, like a top 5 contender in the game. But that's it. Like, outside of those two, GT heroes is rough, right? All the easy Super Saiyan 4s, you could use them with type advantage in these tough stages, and that's it. So GT, you know, we need a lot. There's still a bunch of stuff they could do from GT, right? New Baby Saga Super Saiyan 4 Goku would be so, oh my god, that would help Pan so much. I'm going to be very curious to see what happens with Pan once, again, either we get Baby Saga Super Saiyan 4 Goku, which I think could happen semi-recently, or semi-soon, or Beast Gohan comes out. I really feel like Pan potentially could do some work with Beast Gohan. I depending upon what Beast Gohan's abilities are, what his links are, what his leader skill is, I think Pan could be a decent option on Beast Gohan's team, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. So, alright, here's the Metal Cooler fight. Again, it's just sort of like scratch and claw our way through the Cyclopean Guard, and then once we make it past him, we're good, right? Metal Cooler is not really going to be too scary with, you know, Double Pan and Carnival Goku and all this stuff. guys! Yes, here we are. This, to me, was the hardest stage to no item with any team against any of these stages thus far. I don't think no Cell Max, no item run, no other Red Zone, no item run with any team. At the time I'm recording the audio for this, I have no items every Red Zone stage with Raditz's team. But this was harder than any of these. I'm telling you, this was the single hardest one. No other 200% team against any of these events have I had more difficulty than making it through this. I felt like to make it through this fight, no item with Pan's team, like you just need perfect RNG, right? Like it's actually, that's it. This Pan is unrunnable in this stage almost because of the Metal Cooler army right here. They double super so often. It's so difficult to hide Pan in this fight. Like you can't. It is a struggle to hide Pan. I have dozens of runs. Like if you get double Pan rotation, it's almost usually instant. Like you can't survive. Like there's nothing you can do, right? So it's just very, very, very tough to make it through these opening runs. Like that's the thing. The Metal Cooler core with this team, like if we eat a super attack, we basically lose, right? Like we have to like dodge every super, you know, break his super with like Carnival Goku's active skill, right? We need to do stuff like that in order to make it through this fight. And it's like most of the time I couldn't even get to the core. You know, it's like Android 8 is a god. We know how good he is. But guess what with Android 8? By the way, Chi-Lai, remember that Chi-Lai heals, what is it, 39% HP after she dodges 3 times? I think that shit is really good. Because like you saw, she ate that super attack, but then she healed most of it right back, right? Now, typically, in these Red Zone stages, if Chi-Lai eats a super, she's dead. But in very specific instances, you know, we can have her take a super attack and it's not game over, right? Android 8, really good. If he doesn't start on rotation with Kid Goku, we probably lost. It's just flat out. Android 8 takes millions of damage. He just gets turned inside out. It's like Dio dropping the damn road roller on him. Android 8 is out of here in a second, right? Okay, so now we get to the core. Here's the thing about the core, man. Okay, yeah, like it's like let's watch this back. No wonder this is a no item run. We get here and his first turn he just doesn't super attack. Pan needs to attack to build up. The problem, no GT Goku is coming in here and living these attacks from this boss. None of them, right? You could bring maybe like one of these GT Gokus, and if they don't get hit, if the Metal Cooler Core doesn't super attack, if he supers, his normals are not blockable by any GT character except for LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, basically. And I guess LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, his EZ8 as well. This dude hits so hard on normals after he supers, it's insane. Pan, a lot of times, dude, Chi-Lai, wow, Chi-Lai actually ate a normal and lived from him. Holy, okay. Pan, after the core super attacks, Pan takes something like 250,000 damage from a normal or something like that. Remember, as the fight goes on, Pan gets stronger and stronger. She needs to do 5 attacks to build up her passive. But it's just really, really tough, right? After the core super attacks, he just hits so hard that it becomes such a struggle to actually survive. Now, I believe this Pan right here, we got pretty lucky. This Pan on this turn double super attacks, which allows us to live the normals from the core. I'd have to... How many attacks has this exact Pan done? It's at least... I think this Pan has done at least like 4 attacks after the 2 right here, right? Which has her nearly built up. This is the problem. And the other thing, too, is that you can say, well, why don't you run Pan in slot 1? And it's like, it's just, if he supers, like, we're dead, right? Like, I don't trust Pan on rotation at all. Yeah, so 130 right there. Chi-Lai can be so helpful, of course, with her dodging. I've done AGL UI Goku in this fight a lot, again, because you can't really... It's very difficult to tank this guy's normals after he supers. I'm so serious about that. So, like, characters like UI Goku, Chi-Lai, and stuff like that are just so big for this fight because this guy he hits so hard. Even God Goku, right? Like, God Goku, I've seen God Goku take 300k from this guy's super before God Goku attacks, I think when he's not on a leader skill, depending upon how many orbs he gets, right? So it just can be very, very tough. things like Carnival Goku's Revive, Carnival Goku's Active Skill, Android 8. Remember, Android 8 does have a Senzu Bean effect. If we go into Android 8's turn, under 20% HP, he will heal us essentially back up to full, which is just such a godsend to be able to get. But this fight took me like 2 weeks straight of attempts. This was, again, the hardest fight. Raditz, the Broly fight with Raditz was not as bad as this, man. Not even close. Not even close. The Raditz fight took me like, it was like 3 tries or something. I feel like I don't think Raditz, the Broly fight with Raditz took that many tries. Majin Vegeta was hard to get done, but the Raditz fight, was not like this. This was the hardest fight so far. The fact that you go from an int phase, which, you know, again, Pan is a build-up kid. I'm not using this stage to really crush Pan and say, oh my god, she's the worst ever, because it's like, Pan is a build-up character. She has to build her passive up, and you just start out in that opening phase where she just gets turned to dust. I would never run Pan in this stage ever, outside of, you know, wanting to no-item every red zone stage with all the 200% teams. And again, the restrictions for my challenge here, no items or support memory, double of the leader, and then make sure every character's on the leader skill, right? Those are the most important things. Yeah, no shock that this is the no-item run. The core is not attacking the 3rd slot, so Pan is not going to take 200k per normal right here, which is beautiful for us. Thank God. Dude, without Kid Goku and Android 8, would this have even been I mean, it definitely would be possible, but it's just like, it would be ridiculous. Thank God Kid Goku and Android 8 came out, man. So there we go. We got the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone sweep done with Pan. This was brutal. These running Pan in a lot of these stages is not fun. I need either that Baby Saga Super Saiyan 4 Goku or Beast Gohan ASAP. I don't think Pan is a completely dead character, but she needs help, and she doesn't have it. GT Heroes is ass, right? Hybrid Saiyans does not have a good leader. So things are just very tough for Pan right now. So there we go. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.